So today's class is going to be all about moving slow. We're not going to be doing chaturangas today. We're not going to be doing a really fast-paced yoga. That doesn't mean it's easy. We're going to be keeping the movements really simple, but really letting our body sink into them and feel them more. And so with that being said, if you happen to have two yoga blocks or something that can act as yoga blocks, so books or, I don't know, soup cans even could work, have those handy because we will be using them today only because it's going to be part of our moving in and out of a posture slowly and using the props to help us balance rather than all our effort going into making sure we don't fall over as we're moving in and out. So let's begin. Find that comfortable seat. Perhaps it's sitting on the edge of a blanket or a pillow, allowing your spine to lift, the crown of your head reaching up towards the sky as your sit bones ground down to the earth below. Your eyes can close, or you could just bring your gaze down to the floor and allow your hands to rest comfortably. It might be at your knees, it might just be in your lap. Begin taking deeper breaths. Maybe it's your first full, complete, conscious breath of the day. We're taking the time here to create a barrier from everything that's happened today, everything that's happening outside of your mat from where you are right now. For the next hour, all you have to think about is yourself and what's happening within those four corners of your mat. And as you continue with that deeper breath, give yourself a few moments to check in first with how you're feeling physically. Are there any aches or pains, any tightness, or perhaps you're feeling really good today? And then checking in with how you're feeling mentally. Is your brain really busy, or is it exhausted, or something in between? Never ever a wrong answer with this. And then lastly, check in with how you're feeling emotionally and spiritually. How is your energy today? And that transcends the physical aspect, although our energy can affect our physical plane. But just check in and see if you can sense that energetic field, which is on the outskirts of our body, our physical body. Check in to see how it might be feeling today. And if that's too difficult or just not something that resonates with you, don't worry about it. And keeping with this breath and this both grounding down and lifting through the crown of the head, I'm going to share some words today from Sri Desikachar, who is one of the founders of modern yoga. It's a leader or mentor that I have read many books from, and his words are always just on point in my mind. However beautifully we carry out an asana or pose, however flexible our body may be, if we do not achieve the integration of body, breath, and mind, we can hardly call it yoga. What is yoga after all? It is something that we experience inside, deep within our being. Yoga is not an external experience. In yoga, we try in every action to be as attentive as possible to everything we do. Yoga is different than dance or theater. In yoga, we are not creating something for others to look at. As we perform the various asanas, we observe what we are doing and how we are doing it. We do it only for ourselves. We are both the observer and what is observed at the same time. If we do not pay attention to ourselves in practice, then we cannot call it yoga. So that kind of ties into what the theme of our practice is today, moving really slow, really checking in with our body as we're in a posture. And that can be really challenging for some people. And if it is, that's okay. See if you can stay with that challenge or with that feeling of being uncomfortable, never pain, remember, but a feeling of being uncomfortable or challenged. And see if you can stick with that. So with that, let's begin to move our body a little bit. You can bring your arms out to the sides. If you like, you can keep your eyes closed or open them. And on an inhale, we lift and open our arms up. Exhale, bring the arms back down. And as you're doing this with your breath, inhaling to lift and exhaling to bring them down, use this time here to start tuning in to what's happening in the body as you perform this simple movement. Noticing the shoulder blades open and lift as you bring your arms up. Maybe noticing how your rib cage lowers down as you bring your arms down. Take one more round like this. And then on your next go around, you'll inhale and you'll bring your arms up, and we'll add that little twist of the body. So as you exhale, twist to your right, draw your one arm down in front of you, one arm behind you. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back to center with your arms overhead, twisting to the other side as you exhale. And keep going with that. You're not twisting to your furthest edge. We're just warming things up, getting the spine to warm up, activating our core a little bit. Connecting the breath to the movement. Take that twisting action once more to each side so that you're balanced out. When you're done, bring yourself back to center and your hands down, resting in your lap or at your knees again. Coming back into the breath. And then we're going to transition now into a tabletop posture. So bringing yourself onto hands and knees. Stacking the joints, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Bringing our core in slightly, broadening out our shoulder blades, and thinking about that neutral spine from crown of the head to the tailbone. So we're not trying to keep our back ramrod straight. We're trying to honor the natural curvature of the spine here. On an inhale, move into cow pose. Belly draws down. You look up and you tilt your tailbone back. And then exhale, move into the opposite position, cat pose. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. And again, slow, deliberate, thoughtful movement. After your next cat pose, come back into tabletop. And we're gonna just do that little mini warm-up sequence to get our blood moving a little bit. So you're gonna curl your toes under. On an exhale, bring your hips up and back for down dog. And then as you inhale, bring your knees back down to tabletop slowly. Exhale, hips draw back towards your heels for child's pose. Inhaling, back up into table. Exhaling, down dog. Inhale to table. Exhale, child's. Keep going. You're welcome to close your eyes if you feel okay doing so, and allowing your awareness to tune in deeper to what's happening in your body, keeping the breath connected to the movement. One more round, ending at a down dog. So whenever you get to down dog next, that's where we'll all meet. And when you get here, if it feels like you want to pedal your heels up and down or rock your hips a little side to side, take some time for that here. With your next exhale, walk your feet up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Take ragdoll version, so letting the upper body be loose and limp. Arms can hang down towards the floor, or you could hold opposite elbows with your hands and allow your body to sway. Perhaps nod your head up and down or turn it side to side to release any stress still hiding up there. Unclench your jaw. You can do that by opening and closing your mouth really wide a few times. And if you're holding your elbows, release your hands down. We're going to take a halfway lift. So as you inhale, come up halfway, shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, forward fold. We'll do that a few more times. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Exhaling, float back down. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. One more. Coming up halfway as you inhale. And exhaling to fold. Now soften your knees, and as you inhale, let's sweep our arms as we rise all the way up. And then exhale, bring our hands to heart center for Tadasana pose. You can bring your blocks now up to the front of the mat and then find Tadasana again. When you're here, take a few moments to become really conscious and active in Tadasana. So you're rooting down through your feet. A little trick to get your feet activated is to lift your toes up, and you'll feel those corners of the feet that I talk about pushing down into the mat. Once you release your toes, see if you can keep that activation happening, and that's your active feet for this stance. There's a little bend in your knees, and you can pretend you're squeezing a block with your thighs, and you notice how that changes the feeling in your pelvis. Core engaged, shoulders broad, head balanced on top of the spine. This is an active Tadasana. Now on your next inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, we forward fold. Inhale, bring yourself up halfway. Exhale, hands coming onto the blocks. You're gonna pick up your right foot and step it back, finding a lunge position here. And then bring your back knee down, your right knee down onto the mat. From here, you can keep your toes curled under like mine are, or you could release your foot and allow the front of your foot to just rest on the mat. I like to keep my toes curled under. On an inhale, slowly rise. Let your core do the work here. Let it keep you steady. So we're coming into a low crescent lunge. Taking a couple moments because we're going to hang out here, make some adjustments. Check that your front knee is lined up over the ankle in front. Draw the shoulders out of the ears. If you like, you can bring your gaze up slightly, not so much that you're cranking your head all the way back, but just sort of lifting your gaze, imagining that we're lifting our energy up through the pinkies of our hands and up through the crown of the head. Breathing deeply. And then on an exhale, bring your hands slowly back down onto those blocks. Lift your knee up and back. And then as you exhale, step up to the top of the mat, forward fold. On an inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, we'll go to the other side. So hands on the blocks, you lift your left foot up, drop back. Again, even moving your feet back and forth like this, see how slow you can take it to keep that deep awareness in the body. From lunge, draw your left knee down. And then when you're ready, as you inhale, bring yourself up into your low crescent lunge. A good way to keep yourself stable when you're in a lunge position is to think about scissoring your inner thighs towards each other. On an exhale, we bring our hands back down. Lift your knee up and back. And then as you exhale, lift up your back foot, bring it up to the front, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold, soften your knees. And as you inhale, we rise all the way up, sweeping our arms up. Exhale, hands coming to heart center again. Activate your Tadasana pose. Take breaths, check in with how the body's feeling. We're going to keep going with this, and we're going to add on into our crescent lunge to find different aspects of the pose and how it feels in your body. With your next inhale, sweep your arms all the way up, and then exhale, fold forward. Come up halfway on an inhale. Exhale, hands on the blocks. Step your right foot back, find lunge, and then bring the right knee down. As you inhale, bring yourself up into crescent. Taking a couple moments to make those little micro adjustments if needed. And from here, as you exhale, sweep your left arm back and your right arm pointing straight out in front of you. And push out through both hands. So reach out, through both fingertips. You can turn your gaze to the back hand. That can challenge your balance a little bit. If that feels a little too hard today, you can keep your gaze towards the front. Notice where you feel this change in the body, this change of the crescent lunge in your body. As you inhale, bring yourself back to center. Your arms lift back up into crescent. Exhale, our hands come back down onto the blocks and you lift your back knee. And then on an exhale, step up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway again. And exhale, we go to the left side. So lift the left foot up, step it back. When you're ready, Bring the left knee down onto the mat and rise on an inhale into crescent. From here, on an exhale, the right arm draws back, the left arm now drawing forward. Again, gaze can stay towards the front, or you can turn it to the back. And on an inhale, bring yourself back to center, arms lifting up. And exhale, hands come down. We lift up our knee and back, and we step up, top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift yourself up halfway. Exhale, fold, soft knees. Inhale, rise, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Once again, activate that Tadasana, standing mountain pose. Find your breath, see how it's feeling. And then on an inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, hands on the blocks, right foot stepping back. Take your time, you're not in any rush. Bringing your back knee down when you're ready and rising on an inhale. This time we're going to take a prayer twist. So draw your hands into prayer in front of your chest. On an exhale, turn your body to the left and then draw your right elbow down towards your knee, your left elbow pointing up towards the ceiling. Check that your left shoulder has not crept up by your ear. If it has, just see if you can bring it down a little bit out of the ear. As you inhale, bring yourself back to center. Hands can stay at prayer in front of the chest. And then as you exhale again, hands coming down, we lift up our back knee. Exhaling, step up, top of the mat, forward fold. Coming up halfway as you inhale. Exhale, other side. So lift the left foot up, drawing it back. Bringing the left knee down when you're ready. And then rising up into your crescent lunge. Preparing for prayer twist, we bring our hands in front of our chest in prayer. And then on an exhale, turn to the right. Left elbow draws down, right elbow pointing up. On an inhale, bring yourself back to center. Hands stay at prayer in front of the chest. And then as you exhale, hands come onto the blocks. You lift up your knee. And again, exhale, step up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift yourself up halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, we rise, arms sweeping all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. Taking some deep cleansing breaths. We're going to do that one more time. When you're ready, on an inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, hands on the blocks. Step the right foot back, bring the knee down, and then rise for your crescent. Prepare for a twist, hand chest to the left and bring the right elbow down, left elbow up. Keeping the core engaged here. On an inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands down onto the blocks, lift your knee up and back. And then on an exhale, step up. Top of the mat, forward fold. Last side, as you inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, let's bring the left foot back. Bring your knee down and rise on an inhale. And then bringing our hands into prayer in front of the heart. As you exhale, turn your body to the right. Left elbow down, right elbow draws up. As you inhale, come back to center. On an exhale, hands onto the blocks, you lift up your knee and back. And then exhaling, step up, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Draw the arms all the way up, reaching up. Exhale, hands back to heart center, Tadasana. Take some deep breaths. See how your body's feeling after that work. And then if you need to get a quick drink of water, please do so. We're gonna keep one of the blocks handy and place it in front of us. We're gonna do a forward fold, a standing forward fold with using our block as a little bit of an aid. So whenever you're ready, I'm gonna move the block to the side so you can see what I'm gonna do with my legs, because it's a little bit different. It's not just a regular forward fold. You're gonna take your right foot and cross it over the left. And then that block can be in front. And all we're gonna do is a forward fold from here, and you'll hopefully feel it in just a regular forward fold. So again, you'll give you time to kind of see how it feels in your body. So on an inhale, sweep your arms all the way up, lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold forward, bringing your hands onto the block, whatever height you, letting the crown of the head, breathing into the back of your left leg here. Perhaps you can even feel it in the outer left hip. Sort of like when we do pigeon pose and you feel that stretch in the outer hip. Breathing deep. With every exhale, maybe your body folds just a fraction more. Maybe it doesn't. That's okay. And we're going to prepare to come out. So bring yourself up a little bit. The core has engaged and keeps your low back safe. And when you're ready, on an inhale, we bring our upper body back up, sweep our arms all the way up. Hands into heart center. Carry across your feet. Maybe you need to kind of walk them out a little bit. And then we're going to take that posture to the other side. So this time your left foot over the right. Let me move my block back over. And then inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. I notice that it is tighter for me on this side. Maybe it is for you as well. It is very normal and common to have one side be tighter than the other. And the beauty of yoga is it gives us the space to explore that and even notice it, when most of the time we maybe wouldn't even notice things like that about ourselves. Okay, we're going to prepare to come out. So you're going to lift yourself up a little bit. When you feel ready, on an inhale, bring yourself all the way up, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and carefully uncross. Walking it out again a little bit. And now we get to come down onto the mat into a child's pose. So you can move blocks off to the side. Allow your knees to open up wide, your heels draw in towards each other. Sit bones drawing down towards the heels, and bring your forehead down onto the mat. Let the tailbone curl down towards the heels. And since we're taking things really slow today and allowing ourselves to become really aware of what we're feeling, use this time here in child's pose to notice the feeling of your shins pushing down into the mat beneath you. Your forehead and your third eye perhaps pushing down into the mat. If you like, you could walk your fingertips out far in front of you and push down into the mat with your fingertips and feel that stretch through the entirety of your back. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves up into tabletop again. So carefully draw yourself back up. Find tabletop. And we're going to take thread the needle pose. So on an inhale, sweep your left arm up. Maybe you look up at your hand. As you exhale, bring that arm back down and through. Left ear coming down onto the mat. Your right hand could be placed in front of your face. You could reach it up towards the top of the mat, or even rest it on the small of your back. Any of those options are perfect. Let your awareness be more in that left arm. So keep stretching the left hand out, allowing the left shoulder blade to release down even more onto the mat. And allow your tailbone to stick up towards the sky and just sink into the posture. We're gonna start to come out. So you're gonna bring your right hand back by your face if it's not already. On an inhale, slowly draw the left arm out and up, and then bringing it back down into tabletop. At tabletop, let's do 3 rounds of cow and cat, neutralizing our spine. So inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. After you've done 3 rounds, you'll come back into tabletop and we'll do thread the needle on the other side. So when you're ready on an inhale, you'll sweep the right arm up. Exhale, bring that arm back down and through, bringing the right ear on the mat. Left hand by the face, up at the top of the mat, or on the small of the back. And let's prepare to come out. So left hand back by your face. On an inhale, you slowly draw the right arm out, up, and then back down into tabletop. Realign your body here and then do take 3 more rounds of cow and cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And after those 3 rounds, we meet back in tabletop. And then we're going to take a seated pose. So again, if you have a blanket or something that you can sit on the edge of to help put your pelvis in a better alignment, please do so. And we're going to take seated cobbler's pose. So for that, we bring the soles of our feet together. Your knees open up wide. Perhaps you want to use blocks for some support under your thighs or your knees. Your hands come down by your ankles. And remember, where your feet are positioned, it doesn't matter. You're just going to get different sensations in the body. So the closer your heels come towards your groin, the more you're going to feel it in the inner hip. The further out you bring your heels from the body, the more you're going to feel it in the inner thigh. So whatever you feel like today, take that option. So hands down by your ankles. As you inhale, lift through the crown of the head. As you exhale, hinge from your hips first, bringing the upper body forward and down, and then you can curl your head down towards your feet. Again, shoulders are out of the ears. You may move your hands a little bit once you come into the posture to get a bit more comfortable. Sometimes my hands will come down onto the floor. And breathe into the inner hip, the inner thighs. Allow your body a few moments to acclimate to the posture, and perhaps after a few breaths, you might be able to fold a little bit further. Few more breaths here. We're going to begin to make our way out. So like before, walk yourself back a little bit. Engage the core and inhale, rise up. Let's sweep our arms up overhead to come out of the posture. Exhale, bring them down, hands at your knees, and slowly bring your knees back together. Once you're here, you can rock them side to side a few times. And then we're going to come onto our backs. So if you like, you can use your blanket or a pillow for under your head. Have one of your blocks handy. We'll use that for variation on legs up the wall pose. So first, just arrive on your back. Give yourself a couple moments to feel the body's weight come down onto the mat, feeling the back of the shoulders make contact, the back of your sit bones making contact with the mat. And then we're going to take a dynamic bridge pose first. So for bridge pose, you want your feet a certain distance away from your sit bones. And the way to get that alignment correctly, you're going to bring your hands down by your sides. And you want to be able to brush the back of your heels with your fingertips. So I keep shimmying my feet a little bit further away until my fingertips are just brushing the back of it. And that's the proper distance from sit bones to heels. So then bringing my hands down again by my sides, I'm going to try and keep my knees equal distance apart as I'm lifting myself up and down in bridge pose. Sometimes it's common to see your knees kind of go out to the side or maybe even draw in towards one another. We're trying to keep that alignment as even and straight as possible. So when you're ready, on an inhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling and lift your arms up and over and behind. Exhale, arms and your hips come all the way back down to the mat. Inhale, we lift and open. Again, taking your time. Exhale, coming back down. Keep going with your breath. Take one more round. We all meet back down on the mat. And this is when you can take your yoga block and we're going to lift our hips and bring the block under the small of our back and allow your weight to rest down onto it. This is supported bridge pose. You could stay right here. This is a great pose. It's really relaxing. You can tuck your chin just a little bit so that you're not crunching the cervical spine and the neck. If you'd like to take legs up the wall from here, simply lift both feet up. Pretend you're planting your feet up onto the ceiling. And whenever I'm in this posture, I like to imagine that my legs are zipped together and I make circles, small circles with my legs, rolling out my low back on this yoga block. So little circles, maybe rocking forward and back. See what feels good for you. Still with that deep, full, beautiful breath. And we're going to come out from legs up the wall. So if you're taking this option, bend your knees, bringing your feet back down onto the mat. And then as you inhale, lift your hips up and slide the block out and slowly bring your hips back down, your sit bones back down. Once you're here, hug both knees in, maybe rock them a little bit side to side. And we're going to take a spinal twist posture to round things out before Shavasana. So when you're ready, open up your arms onto the floor like a T or like cactus arms. And then keep your knees drawn up towards your chest. And as you exhale, bring both knees over to the left and turn your gaze to the right. Trying to keep both shoulder blades down on the mat if you can, or just aiming for that. Your right shoulder blade might want to lift up a little bit when you're here. Just kind of keep drawing it down towards the mat to get the full effect of this twist in the body. On an inhale, bring your knees back to center, hug them in again for a moment. And then bring your arms back out and rotate your knees now to the right and your gaze to the left. Once again, on an inhale, bring your knees back to center, hug them in, and use this time here before Shavasana to take any final movements you might like, such as happy baby pose or perhaps hugging everything in tight like a ball. When you feel ready, relax into Shavasana, allowing the body to completely relax down into the mat, allowing your feet to roll to the outsides. If you're feeling cold, perhaps put a sweatshirt or a blanket over you so that your body feels totally at ease for final resting pose. And begin to bring your awareness back. Notice yourself lying here. Maybe scan the entire back side of your body, noticing how you're feeling now as compared to when you first began class today. Let your breath deepen once again, and when you feel ready, start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Noticing how just that small movement feels in your body. As you're ready, you can increase the movement. Maybe it's rolling your wrists and your ankles, rocking your head gently. Maybe eventually you bend your knees and you rock them side to side as well. And then if you like, stretch your arms overhead like you woke up from a great nap, and then roll over onto one side and allow your head to rest on your arm for a few breaths here. When you feel ready, guide yourself back up to a seated position, taking your time. There's no rush. Whenever you get there, bring your hands into prayer and bow your chin. Feeling our practice with a sense of gratitude. Feeling a lot of gratitude and awe for these amazing bodies of ours. Look at everything our bodies are doing for us each and every moment of the day to keep us here. Offer up a blessing and a thank you to this physical being that we are. And then also give yourself some thanks for taking the time to get on your mat today, taking care of the body, the mind, and the spirit. We can come up with a million reasons to not do this practice, but I don't know about you, whenever I finish a practice, I am so grateful that I got myself here and did it. Let's bring our thumbs up to the third eye center, the seat of enlightenment. Remember that you are a blessed soul. You are here. You are strong. You are creative. And you have what it takes to create the life you want. The light in the teacher in me honors the light in the teacher in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for class. Those of you that participated with me today, I hope it was good for you to take this slower version of our regular class. I think it's good to switch things up once